This is something I want to ask you because this is your generation. And Mike kind of checked me on this when we were finishing up, me and Trey Wingo and Mike at ESPN on the morning show there on Golic and Wingo. And it was when Drew Brees was still playing, and I forgot what the drama was that was going on with him in the locker room. It didn't have to do with football. It was, I think, some product or something he was backing. It wasn't a product, but. Do you remember what it was? I don't remember what it was.
I'm blanking on what it was exactly, but I remember this saga happening.
It was something, and I remember teammates, like there were a lot of public tweets, about, that they felt he was wrong and this and that. And I remember we were on air, and I said, guys, I don't understand this. I mean, I was one of those locker rooms, take care of shit in the locker room. You got a problem with somebody, go talk to him in the locker room, and it stays in the locker room. But this all was public. And Mike checked me right there, and he said, Dad, listen. He said, this is how this generation communicates. They have no problem, writing it out and hitting send, and it's out on Twitter, right? Or whatever, screwing that up, I'm sure. Or now your Instagram
right.
story. Now we got guys that are filming their own workouts and putting them out there, and I never understood that. But I had to understand what Mike was saying, that this is the way they communicate. Leads me now to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, before the playoff game, he's the one who put out there publicly that he wasn't playing. Didn't come from the team. Came from Lamar, saying he had a grade 2 PCL sprain, close to a grade 3, and wasn't going to play. Wasn't the team. And then, what was it, just a day or two ago, put out on Instagram about how you should treat people good, and if you do, they'll treat you good. And basically it was saying, hey, take care of me and I'll take care of you guys because you haven't taken care of me so far. He, again, initiated this publicly where this is between he and the Baltimore Ravens. It's something I still have a hard time understanding. I'm sure he, obviously, because he doesn't have an agent, it's his mom, that they're having conversations with the Ravens, but it just feels like everybody wants to make it public to show the public, this is where I am. What's your opinion now of it, or trying to get you to come on my side of the opinion by putting it out publicly. While I understand it, and I get this is where we are now, that doesn't mean I have to be a fan of it. And I'm just not a fan of airing that stuff publicly.
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting that he put out the injury message on his Twitter because it seemed like he was talking directly to Ravens fans in that sense.
Yes.
And I think they've probably been really disappointed that, he hasn't played the last few weeks, and he wants to make sure that they get the accurate message that he wants them to get. And that makes me think that he doesn't trust the team communications and putting the most accurate information out that's going to make him look the best, because obviously this all is taking place in the background of this contract issue that they've had all season and not been able to figure out before the season. And he wants them to know, he wants the fans at least to know that he wants to play, and he wanted to play, he wanted to sign a deal before the season started, but he knows what he's worth. And in this case, I kind of have to see his side of it. The Ravens should sign him. As a Steelers fan, watching this all play out, I'm like, this is great for for the Steelers, because playing against Lamar Jackson twice a year isn't fun. And from a fan point of view, this is now 2 years in a row where you are disappointed that this guy doesn't want to play, and it seems like maybe he doesn't want to. So he's trying to nip that in the bud. And I think that the most direct way to get that across if you're an athlete is just to put it on your social media and make sure the correct message is getting put through. So I see that side of it. I see your side of it, since you didn't grow up with that sort of direct communication, right? If you wanted a message to get out, you'd have to tell it to a reporter, and then you might have to trust that they're not going to screw it up or take it out of context or something like that.
Right.
And now you don't have to really do that. So I think it's a powerful tool. I think it probably speaks to how bad the situation is behind the scenes that he felt like he had to do it. I also think that maybe in the offseason, give it a few months, maybe they'll kind of, come together and work out a deal, because it is in probably both of their best interests to do that. But, if I'm a fan of Lamar Jackson, I probably want to read his side of it before I'm picking a side. And blaming, someone for not playing or whatever.
That's also, well, because when you put something out that you want to put out, you're going to skew it your way.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
Exactly. So, I mean, are we to think every Baltimore Raven fans that reads that goes, oh, okay, well, that's the reason I believe every word that he's saying.
I think fans will go out of their way to not give athletes the benefit of the doubt on their own health. But I think that there's so much happening behind the scenes that fans aren't privy to anyways. At least if you're going to hear, we usually hear the team slanted version of something like that. So at least maybe the player's point of view is also exaggerated or slanted, but you still have to hear both and then come to your own conclusion about what the hell's going on. And we don't really know what the hell's going on. I mean, I do believe he's obviously injured, and I'm sure he wants to play. Like, these guys are super competitive. No one wants to sit out a game. Like, how many times in your career did you feel like you were hurt and you probably shouldn't have played, but you wanted to go out there and compete with your team? I mean, it happens all the time, right?
All the time. Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Absolutely all the time.
Play the games, and especially a playoff game.
So let's end on this. We'll have plenty of time to talk about this. We'll just give quicker answers on this. 3 quarterbacks. Do they retire? And this is more for 2 of them more than 3. Retire, stay with the team they're at, or they'll be on a different team. You don't have to name a different team, just that they'll be on a different team. Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers.
So I'm ranking in terms of
are they going to be forgetting Lamar and retiring? He's not retiring. Is Lamar going to be with the Ravens or a different team?
I say Ravens.
I say Ravens as well. Tom Brady, retire with the Bucs or different team?
I think Bucs.
I'm going to say different team.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers.
I think Bucs, but he gets at least one coach fired again.
Yeah. Well, one already did. I mean, Byron Leftwich is already gone, so that.
Well, he will. I don't know if he's officially gone, but yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, then that counts as the one. So
there you go.
Bucs.
And then Aaron Rodgers retire with Green Bay or with another team.
I think he stays with Green Bay. I guess this isn't I didn't pick anything interesting. You know what? I changed my Tom Brady answer. Because there's no way all 3 are staying. There's going to be some drama. I think Tom Brady leaves. He's going to, let's say, the Jets. We'll put him on the Jets.
That would be Jet fans, and Jet fans would find a way, like Stu Gatz, Jet fans would find a way to complain about it.
Oh, they would. And I also, I saw that the Jets were interviewing Nathaniel Hackett for their open offensive coordinator position. If that happens, he's not going to the Jets. So I rescind that.
Not going to the Jets. I agree. So we agree. Lamar in Baltimore, Brady we think somewhere else, and I agree with you. I think Aaron Rodgers will be back, and he'll be with the Green Bay Packers.